All right, hi everyone. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much for attending the welcome once again to the Women Techsters Open Day November edition. And we are super thrilled and super glad to have you here. I can see quite a number of people are joining in. Yeah, so you could just use the chat, the webinar chat to just let us know where you're joining us from, what your name is, and if you have expectations for the session, or just some of the reasons why you registered, what are some of the things that you are looking towards getting out of this session. So you could just quickly use the webinar chat and then, we'll just do a quick introduction. Welcome once again, everyone. We have all of our speakers, panelists already on the call, waiting to, tell us so much from their wealth of knowledge. So I can see some people have already started writing. Hi, Delvin from Kenya. We have one of our speakers from Kenya too. Hi, Wealth from Nigeria. Hi, Gochuku from Abuja. Hi, Joy from Nairobi, Kenya. Oh, hi. I can see Lillian from Zimbabwe. Awesome. Amazing. So just tell us some of the reasons why you decided to register for this webinar and what are some of the things that you're looking towards getting out of this webinar. Okay, I can see Chidera from Lagos, so I can see Letty from Ethiopia. Oh, hi Ethiopia today. I can see Rose from Nigeria also. I can see Barbara from Botswana. I can see Fatima from Nigeria. I can see Naomi from South Africa. Oh wow, awesome. I like this. So I'd just like to hear from us. I can see Vera from Ghana. I think Gloria is also from Ghana. So I would just like to hear from us how what expectations do we have for this session? I can see Evans from Mozambique also. So I can see Omoyen saying that I joined because I really need that tech knowledge and I hope this webinar helps me. I can assure you this webinar is going to help you. So hi Rachel from Rwanda. I can see Lillian from Zimbabwe, if I'm correct, saying that you want to venture into online jobs and you want this to help you understand technology better. Okay, that's nice. I can see Kazena from Rwanda. Please pardon me if I mispronounced your name. I can see Florian from Sierra Leone. So I'd just like to hear from us so far. What are some of the things that you would want to learn from this session? I can see Chidera saying that she's looking forward to learning, relearning, and unlearning. Okay. Amazing. I like the energy I'm seeing here also. And we have all of our panelists, like I said earlier, who are here ready to dish us from their wealth of knowledge. And of course, we're going right in. We'll probably just have to come back and read some of this. But I think I just want to take one last one that I just saw. I think Salma says she's from Morocco and she's in the field of business administration and she wants to enter the field of technology. Okay, awesome. But we have seasoned experts in technology, women from Africa, who will be here on this call to, share more insight about their journey in technology. So once again, I'd just like to welcome everyone. You're welcome. This is the Women Techsters Open Day. And the Women Techsters Open Day, it's a monthly virtual session where we have seasoned women in tech share insights from their journey as to how to navigate starting up a tech career and just some of the skills and insights that you might need for anyone who'd be going into technology. Now the Women Techsters is there are 5 sub-programs on that the Women Techsters. I'm sure that some of you might know about some of them. So we have the Tech Girls Drive, we have the Women Techsters Open Day, we have the Women Techsters Bootcamp, we have the Women Techsters Fellowship, and the Women Techsters Masterclass. So the Tech Girls Drive is an advocacy drive that is geared towards young girls in Africa ages 8 to 20, and it is an advocacy to it serves as a touch point for them to get to understand STEM, right? So that they get to know what STEM is, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as the available careers and the opportunities that are bound for them. So it more or less serves initial touch point. And recently concluded one actually last month, yes, in commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child, where we carried out advocacy across 8 African countries. And then we have the Women Techsters Open Day. The Women Techsters Open Day, which is where you are right now. It's a monthly virtual session where you get to learn from experts about starting up a tech career, some of the things that you need to put into consideration, some of the skills that you might probably want to learn depending on the career path that you want to go into. So you get to listen to seasoned women in tech who are already on the call, who can share from their insights and their wealth of knowledge. Now, after that, we have the Women Techsters Bootcamp, because we realize that just having advocacy and just letting people know about the opportunities, it's not enough. We can actually provide trainings for you to actually make use of. After you've learned about it, you can actually sign up for our trainings and get the right skills and knowledge to be able to actually start a tech career. And that is why we have the Women Techsters Bootcamp. So the Women Techsters Bootcamp, it's for 3 weeks, and it's more like a startup where you get to learn about some of the things that you probably need if you want to go into, like, say, we have cybersecurity, product design, product management, data science, and software engineering, yes. And then the fellowship, which is a lot more intense, we have fellowship which is a lot more intense, and it's a 1-year program that's divided into 6 months of training, 6 months of job placement. And currently we have our fellows that began classes very, very recently. And of course we have the master class, which is a lot more so we have the master class, and the master class is an advanced training. So we usually have it streamlined to a particular learning track. Like, for instance, I know that for this year we've had master classes in blockchain, we've had master classes in data science, and in cybersecurity. So it's more in depth. So so that I would not take too much of our time, because you can come here to listen to me. I'll just like to quickly call my able senior colleague here on the call, the person of Blessing Ashi. She's representing our executive director, who is unavoidably absent. So just give us a quick welcome address. Hi, Blessing.
Hi, Oreolua. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Ore, please confirm that you can hear me, and please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you, and I can hear you clearly.
Great. So I'm excited to be here once again. I bring greetings from our amazing and quintessential executive director, Oladibura Oladipo, who is unavoidably absent, but I'm here to take her remarks. And I want to believe that somebody here is going to be learning from the remarks. So this is it. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the November 2023 edition of our virtual Women Techsters Open Day program. We are so elated to have you, wonderful women from across Africa, joining us today to learn about how to pursue your interest in technology. I would especially like to welcome you all as a prospective women techsters who have joined us today to learn about starting a career in tech through our Open Day program. I'll quickly run you through some recent highlights. It's a tradition from our Women Techsters program. In October, we ran a call for application for the bootcamp cohort 3.1, and we received 3,754 applications across 22 African countries, 1,951 of which were accepted into the bootcamp, and they began receiving trainings in the following learning tracks: data analysis, cybersecurity, software development, product design, and product management. After 2 weeks of intense training in the following tracks, the beneficiaries showcased their learnings and project work during the demo day, which was held on the 23rd of November. Currently, results are being collated ahead of the graduation, and the graduation is set to hold sometimes in December of 2023. These amazing opportunities was further extended to a new set of beneficiaries as the call for application for bootcamp cohort 3.2 went out on the 8th of November, and it ended on the 26th of November 2023. So for this application, we received a total of 7,358 applications from women across 22 African countries. The screening process is currently ongoing, and all applicants will be notified of their status in the coming days. Since the inception of the Women Techsters Fellowship, we have received numerous success stories of women, of mothers, of daughters, of wives, of students, and workers who have defied the odds and have paved the way for themselves in the ever-evolving technology space. As such, on the 27th of April 2023, we opened the call for application for the 2024 Women Techsters Fellowship, which ran for 6 weeks, about 1.5 months, and we recorded a reach of over 122,913 women across Africa. After carefully reviewing 7,846 valid applications, we successfully admitted 2,014 women into the fellowship program. In October, the orientation was held for the fellows, which spanned for 2 weeks and it included a physical event here in Lagos, Nigeria, where many of the fellows got to listen to seasoned speakers such as Lillian Bernard, who is the president of Microsoft Africa, Salima Momona, who is the Minister of ICT in Sierra Leone, among many others. The event also served as a platform for fellows to network and meet the team. Classes have commenced anyway, for people who probably are thinking of registering. Classes commenced on the 16th of October 2023, and the fellows are currently in their 6th week of training. Some major highlights so far have been the leadership elections, which was held, among which fellows are being grouped by regions and also by affinity groups. Furthermore, this year, we launched into 7 new African countries, which is in addition to our previous 15 African countries. So we are currently in operation, and we are in 22 African countries. And the countries are Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Egypt, DR Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Madagascar, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Algeria, Sudan, Morocco, Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Rwanda, Gambia, and Botswana. The Women Techsters is made possible through our organization, Tech for Dev. Tech for Dev is a non-profit organization that creates access to decent work and entrepreneurship opportunities and platforms for Africans through digital and technology skill empowerment and advocacy. Our vision at Tech for Dev is to equip Africans with digital and life skills that foster economic prosperity, financial freedom, and sustainable development. The Women Techsters is an initiative of Tech for Dev, and it aims to bridge the digital divide between men and women in the technology ecosystem. Through our pilot program, Nigerian Women Techsters, we enabled almost 3,000 women between the ages of 16 to 40 years across Nigeria, and we did this over a 3-year period to ignite interest in pursuing careers and businesses in technology. Driven by the success stories of numerous women from Nigeria Women Techsters program, like Fatima, Tommy, Patience, among others, we carved a new ambition and the dream to replicate this model across Africa, providing more women across with the opportunity to launch careers and businesses in technology. Our dream by 2030 is to reach 5 million women in Africa by empowering them with the knowledge and skills to partake in the technology industry in Africa and the world at large. We believe that empowering change for women across Africa, as well as providing them opportunities to access employment and entrepreneurship, will help achieve a 50-50 male to female ratio balance in the technology space. The Women Techsters Open Day, you're here already. It's a monthly virtual program. It is organized for women across Africa to learn more about leveraging the power of technology to start and advance their career, and also to create technology and technology-enabled businesses. The Open Day is an opportunity for you women on this call to interact with other successful women who have built their careers or businesses in technology over the years, and who will share their personal experiences, speak about possible career paths, and business opportunities that will help women appreciate the importance of acquiring digital and deep tech skills in the digital age. I would like to appreciate everyone for being here today to commence your journey to becoming women in tech. And I also like to say a very big thank you to our amazing speakers, Titinbel, Sharon, and our moderator. Please pardon me if I murdered your name. And I also like to appreciate Gloria for taking out time from your very, very, very busy schedule. Gloria is our moderator for today to share your journeys as women in tech. I look forward to a wonderful conversation, and I'm also sure that every other person on this call look forward to a wonderful conversation. So ladies, allow me to officially welcome you to the Women Techsters Open Day for the November edition. Welcome, ladies, and over to you, Ore.
Thank you so much for that blessing. Thank you so much for that welcome address. So I hope you're able to pick one or two things there. And I can see some other people have left, comments about some of their expectations. I just like to read out a few before we move to the next stage. So I can see Sean coming from Nigeria saying that you want to start your tech journey and you think this would be a good way to start. And I completely agree with you because this would definitely be a good way to start. I mean, you're here already, so you can be sure that you're going to learn a few things. I think I saw one again. Vanessa says that she's looking forward to this event because she'd like to expand her knowledge in technology and hopefully grow in the field. Well, again, you are in the right path. So just one or two. So yes, I can see one. I can see one from Louis says that I'm interested in learning more about technology for development, especially around gender and data for development. Wow, that's amazing. And one last one here. I'm here to know, learn from experts in tech, and I'm ready to be inspired by people who live the dream I love. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. You are here. So if you have pens, you should have, well, not if you have, you should have your pens and paper just seated right beside you, ready to ready to learn from all of our speakers that are here. And I can see Rukaya from Nigeria saying that she's excited to be here. She's confident that by the end of the webinar, she would be able to make an informed decision regarding her career path in tech. Wow, and this is actually the reason where we have the Women Techsters Open Day. So quickly, just to further emphasize some of the things that has been said, I'll be playing a short video for us, after which we'll quickly go into the fireside. I'll introduce all of our guest speakers and then we would introduce and then we'll begin the fireside chat. So should be able to see my screen shortly. And yes, so I will quickly play this for us.
My name is Fatima Ahmed. I'm from Ilorin, Kwara State. I studied chemistry from the University of Ilorin, but now I'm a woman in tech. Getting a job in Nigeria is very difficult. After my National Youth Service program, I was at home for like 5 to 6 months, writing CVs, applying for jobs, and the highest I got was callbacks, which was very frustrating. I was talking to a friend about the difficulties of getting a job in Nigeria, and he was telling me about the opportunities in tech. Coincidentally, at that time, another friend of mine was telling me about how she went to the Nigerian Women Techsters program, where she learned how to code and build websites. Seeing what she could do, I was motivated to apply for the Nigerian Women Techsters program. The training was for 12 weeks. I learned technical skills, building websites, writing codes. I also learned soft skills, communicating effectively, working in teams. It made me more effective in what I do today. Coming for the training, I just felt that, okay, I'll just learn some new skills, then have to go back home to apply for other jobs. But during the training, I started getting a lot of job opportunities, and here I am today. I have a good job, and I am glad I took the bold step to come for the Nigerian Women Techsters training. I currently work as a technical support engineer at Tech Experts, where I provide cloud-based solutions. I want to use this opportunity to encourage other young women out there who are looking for jobs to empower themselves with tech skills and take advantage of opportunities like this.
With partners like Microsoft, we've been able to train over 2,475 women in coding and deep tech skills across 12 states in Nigeria. And all this training was done for free. Over the next 10 years, we will train 5 million women across Africa by 2030. And we're looking for partners who could join us on this journey.
All right, thank you so much for that. I can see, I can see people commenting on the chat just about that. I'd just like to let you know, I'd just like to know rather, how that made you feel just watching that video. What are some of the things that, crossed your mind when you were watching that video? I think I saw someone talking about how tremendous that is. So, just let me see some people. Okay, I can see someone saying it's beautiful and encouraging. This is lovely, amazing, amazing, amazing. And, just like Fatima, you can also have a similar story and even much more. So right now, we have come to the meat of today's session. Yes, so I would be introducing all of our speakers who are already here on the call, and we can then hand the baton over to them and listen to them and learn a lot. So you should already have your pens and papers just ready with you to write down and listen. So I think I'll start our first speaker, Sitembile Songo, and I'll be reading out her bio. Sitembile Songo is the Chief Information Security Officer at Eskom Holdings. She has more than 20 years worth of experience in the cybersecurity field. Sitembile has a Master of Science in Information Security from the University of London and attained globally recognized cybersecurity certification. Her extensive experience is augmented by various cybersecurity leadership roles and significant contribution in various sectors, including energy, consulting, financial, telecom, state-owned entity, and public sector. She is a local and global speaker and has played a pivotal role leading, managing, establishing, developing, and implementing various cybersecurity initiatives, including cybersecurity strategy and program, cyber transformation programs, cybersecurity awareness strategy and programs, policy development, application security, incident management, among others. Her current role primarily focuses on protecting the national critical infrastructure from potential cyber attacks at a strategic level, thus preventing a negative impact on the economy. She enables secure business operations, including secure generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity, which depend on operational technology that largely depends on secured computer networks and systems to produce electricity. Hi, Sitembile. Good afternoon. How are you doing? You're muted. Hi, Sitembile. You're muted. You can see us speaking, but you're muted. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You could just project a bit more.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's our first speaker, Sitembile. So I will be reading Sharon's bio next. Sharon Wangari. Sharon is a product designer and design researcher with over 8 years of experience working across Eastern and Southern Africa. Her most recent experience is in fintech, where she has been involved in building tools and services that track and enable cash movement to manage liquidity. In her previous roles, she designed products within the logistics and e-commerce industry, enabling retailers to not only access retail products at affordable prices, but also have access to credit facilities that increase their purchasing power. Hi, Sharon. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. Very happy to be here.
Okay, very happy to have you here as well. And to our wonderful moderator, Gloria. Gloria Alabi is a full-stack software developer with an agile mindset, boasting of a wealth of experience in web design, code implementation, data analytics, and software product management. Her expertise extends to Linux environments, and she's proficient in an array of programming languages and frameworks, including Python, Laravel, and Vue. Beyond her technical proficiency, Gloria is deeply passionate about fostering diversity and inclusion in the tech and STEM fields, particularly for African women. Recognizing the underrepresentation of women in technology, she actively advocates for and support initiatives aimed at empowering and encouraging African women to pursue careers in STEM. Gloria's commitment to advancing the role of African women in tech goes beyond her professional endeavors. She is actively involved in mentorship programs, community outreach, and initiatives that promote STEM education among young girls in Africa. Her vision is to create a more inclusive and diverse tech landscape where the voices and contributions of African women are not only recognized, but celebrated. In addition to her technical skills, Gloria brings a unique perspective to her work, drawing inspiration from her passion for diversity and commitment to making a meaningful impact in the tech industry. As she continues to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of software development, Gloria remains steadfast in her dedication to breaking barriers and paving the way for more African women to thrive in technology and STEM fields. Hi, Gloria, can you hear me?
Hi, Orolua. Thank
Hi,
you.
Gloria.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for accepting our invite. So I think I will hand the baton over to you. We can go into the fireside chat right about now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys. And I'll be going through the fireside chat with you guys. And the first set of questions are for our guest speaker, Sitembile Songo. I would like to be like you when I grow up. So the first question is, what was your childhood like growing up as a young girl in South Africa? Did you always want to have a career in technology? What inspired you to study a STEM course at a time where not many women were doing so? Over to you, Sitembile.
Thank you, Gloria. That's a very interesting question and a good one indeed. To backtrack a bit, I was born into humble beginnings. I faced a harsh reality of limited resources and financial struggles like some of you probably. And I'm mentioning this as like an situation or condition so that they don't get discouraged.
Hi, Sitembile. Seems like we're losing you or switches from my end. I'm not sure if
it's not like
can't hear
everyone
clearly.
always had a prosperous life. We all had to start somewhere. Yes.
Hello, Sitembile. We kind of lost you, and you are kind of breaking. So please, if you could come again. Yes, we can hear you, but the signal is not that great.
I hope you can hear me now, though.
Yeah, now it's great. Thank you.
All right. So as I was still saying, I was born into humble beginnings. I faced harsh realities of life with limited resources and financial struggles at times. But because I always had that passion of always getting somewhere in life. But not only that, I believe I've been a huge source of inspiration. I've got two sisters. Well, I'm mentioning sisters. I've got two brothers as well, but I've got two sisters, and all of us did maths and science. And I remember my mom used to push us to that direction because she knew that, okay, she could see from our results that, okay, we could do math, we enjoyed science. We used to like to experiment even at home. When my dad is fixing something, I would always ask, okay, how does this work? So I've always been passionate about technology due to the stuff that I was doing. And obviously, as a parent, you must always identify what is it that your child is interested in. What is it that makes your child tick, so that when he or she chooses a career, she chooses the right one, not just because of money, but because she's also passionate about it. And that's what I've with my parents. They've always been supportive in maths and science. Cybersecurity is something different. It's something that I chose as I developed further in my career, because I realized that my interest is more in the technology space, in the cybersecurity space, and I've never looked back since then, because I'm very much passionate about cybersecurity. I'll talk about it later on. But what I can say is, if you have a supportive structure, make it a point that you leverage on the supportive structure in terms of advice that they are giving to you. It also in terms of whatever support that they can give to you. It could be maybe, for instance, funding in terms of studies. Just leverage on that because you never know where it will take you. So in terms of myself, as I structures, and I can remember everything that my parents did just to make it a point that we go to school, regardless of not having enough financial resources at times, but they made a point that their girls go to school. For instance, at an early stage of my life, I had to go to a boarding school, and that was tough because I've always been at home. So for me to leave my home and go to a boarding school where my parents are not there, where my siblings are not there, it was tough. But looking back, it helped me because I became very independent at an early stage of my life. And that independence is helping me as we speak. So sometimes things happen for a reason. Because if I look back, I'm happy that I did go to the boarding school. But when my parents were taking me to a boarding school, then I wasn't happy at all. So just bear that in mind, that sometimes things that we're not happy about, they turn out to be for our own good at the end of the day. And then I came across some stereotypes as well, who believe that women should not be at the workplace. They undervalued women so much as that they thought that women belong in the kitchen or something like that. But I didn't buy into that knowledge because that's not mine at all. So just believe in yourself. If you believe that you can do it, if you believe that you are capable, tap into that knowledge, not the opposite. There'll always be people who believe the opposite. There'll always be people who are negative, but go with those who are optimistic. Don't listen to those who will actually limit your career aspirations. Okay, and then to further answer your question, I had, for instance, I always had passion for cybersecurity, but when I look at, at tertiary education, in terms of the courses that they were offering, then they did not have full courses that were focusing on cybersecurity. But I did not give up. I kept on. At that time, there were short courses there and then. I will take them, even though I'm studying something else formally, still in the science and technology space. But I'll still try to find something that I can use to further my studies in the cyberspace or to further enhance my cybersecurity skills. So I did that until at some stage, I realized that, okay, by the way, you don't only have to look within South Africa. Check what is happening globally, all right? Because anyway, when you look at cybersecurity, cybercrime is borderless. You need to be globally relevant. What is happening in South Africa might be happening in other countries as well. So I got an opportunity of doing something that helped me, not just with regards to me being relevant in South Africa, I became relevant globally because eventually I managed to do a course, a full master's degree in information security, but it was offered by the University of London and other global universities. Even now, actually, you hardly find a full degree or a full master's degree locally, and sometimes you find it globally. So I did exactly that. and I did not give up. Imagine if I gave up it during the early years of my career and said, okay, fine, I like cybersecurity, but at this point in time, they're not offering it as a full master's degree, and I end up doing something else. It means that I would have ended up doing something that I don't like, that I'm not passionate about. But listen to your heart, listen to your passion. Wherever there's passion, there's always a direction. I am certain about that. And also in terms of experience, I made it a point that I always, there are always opportunities that show up. Sometimes people will come and invite you for an interview, for something else. If it's not in line with where I want to go in terms of cybersecurity, I never accept it. Even if the money is more than what I'm earning at this point, I don't accept it, because I always think broader. I always think big in terms of where I want to end up. So at times there might be distractions just because you want more money. Just be careful about that. Think big and make sure that you stick to your career objectives. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much. This is inspiring. Like, this is a great story. These are some of the things I picked up, right? So always go with people who are optimistic. Do not give up. Look at what is happening globally, because you need to be relevant globally. And also, wherever there is passion, there is direction. Okay, do not lose focus. Yeah, so those are the main things that I picked up from such an inspiring journey story from you. Okay, hi everyone. Please remember to add your questions to the Q&A session, and I would be reading them out, or Oreoluwa will be doing that. So the next question for Sitembile, can you describe the work you do? What to you is the best part of your job for a beginner in cybersecurity? What important technical skills should they have?
Okay. So currently I'm the head of information security for a state-owned entity that basically generates, distribute, and transmit electricity. So what I do there is to make sure that we don't face potential cyber attacks. How do I do that? By putting a proper strategy in place and making sure that that cybersecurity strategy is properly implemented, taking a risk-based approach. So I know some of you are very much aware that the company that I'm working for is facing a lot of challenges in terms of load shedding and so forth. So I am playing a very fundamental role at this point in time of my life by making sure that cyber attacks do not contribute to the challenges that we are facing as an organization. Because can you just imagine if cyber attacks were to contribute to the current challenges? It will be worse. And my job is very important because it also contributes to the well-being of the economy. If, for instance, the company that I work for were to face a cyber attack, the economy will be affected very badly. And obviously, that will have bad repercussions to the country, to the reputation of the organization, and we don't want to see ourselves there. The challenges that we're facing are enough. So we see attempted attacks, I think, on a monthly basis and daily basis. So what does that imply? It implies that there are cyber criminals who try to gain unauthorized access to our environment, but the strategies that we put in place are still adequate to protect us or to mitigate all those risks that are associated with the cyber attacks. And obviously, in order for you to do that, you need to advance with the times. And that's where AI and machine learning comes in. One of the things that we've implemented in the cybersecurity space is AI and machine learning. And why are we doing that? Just to make sure that we advance with the times. For some of you who are in the cybersecurity space, you know that even cyber criminals are leveraging on the advanced techniques to gain access or unauthorized access to the networks of the organizations. So even we as cyber professionals must also advance and make it a point that we fight those advanced techniques with advanced technologies. And nowadays, AI and machine learning are one of those advanced technologies. And that's exactly what we have done. And we keep on trying to fully optimize those capabilities, because there's a saying that says you must fight AI with AI. And the reason behind that is because if I can just make a simple analogy, if you're running a sprint marathon, you must wear proper shoes. Can you run, not a marathon, sorry. If you're running if you're doing 100-meter sprint, would you wear your slippers, for instance, to do that sprint? No, you wouldn't, because you're not going to make it. You're not going to win that sprint. So if you want to win that sprint, just make it a point you wear proper shoes. Obviously, you exercise, and then you'll be able to probably make it. Same thing applies in the technology space. If the cyber criminals are using advanced techniques, we must also make it a point that we apply advanced protection measures. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So my role is to then make it a point that the organization as a whole is protected from potential cyber attacks. Because we know the cyber criminals nowadays are trying to use cyber attacks so that they can make financial gain from companies by, for instance, launching a ransomware attack. If they launch a ransomware attack, they know that the possibilities of the company paying are huge if they manage to get their information, and that information is already encrypted and so forth. So it is very fundamental for us to make sure that we always up our game and make it the point that we stay up to date. That's what makes it exciting, and that's why I love my job. You never get bored. There's always something new every day. You always have to learn something, and that is why I like to talking to you young girls, because I can see that there's passion, there's this hunger for knowledge and technology, and that's exactly what we're looking for in this space. You must always have that zeal of wanting to know more, wanting to learn more, and it keeps you like going, and you always excited. You even like waking up in the morning because you know that there's something new that you need to do. And it's actually, let me tell you something, it's not always about money. If you love something, actually, even if the company tells you that, you know what, we're not doing well because of the economy, as a result, we can't even pay bonuses, you'll stay the course. You'll still do what you're supposed to do. You'll still protect the company. Why? Because you're passionate about what you do. It gives you that sense of satisfaction. I'm talking from experience, actually. It's not always the case that the companies are doing well. Sometimes the companies are not doing so well, but because we love what you do, we keep on doing it, because we understand the impact that we are making is not just for ourselves. It's not just for the organization, but it's for the country and the economy at large. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Someone says this is encouraging. Passion is beyond money, and that is true. Thank you so much. So the next question is for Sharon. Sharon, can you tell us a bit about your background? When did you decide to develop a career in tech, and what influenced your decision? Did you have a woman in STEM as a role model growing up? Can you take us through that?
Sure. So first of all, when I was getting into design and research, it was a very new field, and I wasn't like spoken about much. So I had a very different aspiration. I wanted to go the economics route. And what ended up happening is I joined a program where I thought I would learn about business, but ended up learning how to code and just the basics of, getting started in a software engineering career. And that was very interesting. So right after, I got introduced into design research, which again, at the time was very new in the country. I think relatively still new on the continent. And so I just kept on that path, worked with different consulting agencies. But then I ended up segueing into UX design and product design because I felt a little disconnected from my customers. I felt disconnected from the product. I felt disconnected from the people who would be using what we were ultimately trying to design for. So the only way for me to have the best of both worlds, to be part of a research organization or continue working within research-related fields, as well as have that close touch and influence over the final product and how it will be experienced by users, was for me to pivot. So that's what I did. So I was able to essentially continue working autonomously within organizations as a researcher, but also working on the product design side of things. Yeah.
Hey, Sharon, thank you so much. Our second question will be, can you describe a day in the life of a product designer? What important technical skills should every beginner in product design have? What are some of the resources or communities that were helpful in your tech career?
So a typical day is solving problems, which can take many forms. It could be, speaking to your customers. It could be testing. It's a myriad of things, but that's what I would say in a nutshell is a typical day. And also just to say that no day really looks the same. In terms of technical skills, I'm going to start off with soft skills. So first of all, you need to be able to collaborate with folks because within this specific field, you will need cross functions to be able to make decisions, to be able to get buy-in, to be able to be influential. And so you need to be able to collaborate with people and enjoy even that process of ambiguity where you're trying to figure things out with other people and just building context alongside your colleagues. And then the second thing would be communication. You need to be able to articulate what it is that you're trying to achieve, what problem you're trying to solve, why it's important. So those are just like soft skills that you would need. In terms of technical skills, it really does depend what type of a designer you are. I would say ultimately you need to be able to visualize for people what you're trying to accomplish. And that could be done through sketches, wireframes, prototypes. It could be an elaborate document. It could be a flow chart. It really is whatever the end result demands. And so that's something that you kind of learn over time. You also tailor the technical output based on your audience. So if you're going to speak to the business folks, you certainly want to make sure that you're not speaking to them in the way that you would speak to engineers. And so that's really is dependent on your audience. Secondly, two complementary skills that I have found to be important is one, just a basic understanding of code, or being able to actually code. So if you can marry your design skills with a little bit of software engineering, then you're able to be a great partner to your engineering team. And then there's just like relatively less frustration when it comes to collaboration. And then the second skill that I found to be very useful is research, because then you're able to create value for people outside of your immediate team. You're able to work with marketing, with business, with leadership. Really, whoever has a problem, you're able to kind of step in and be a useful and meaningful partner. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I hope we are taking notes and we are adding our questions to the QA. Oreolua will be taking us through the questions and the answers. But quick one before we move on. Can you give us some examples of products you designed, Sharon?
Sure. So more recently, I worked on a liquidity management system, which is essentially used by treasury teams or within treasury firms that enables them to manage liquidity. And what that means is just ensuring that there is money in the right place at the right time, and that money can be moved across different accounts at a moment's notice. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. The next question is for Sitembile again. Okay, I can imagine there were significant milestones that stood out for you in your tech journey. Could you share how you overcame the challenges you faced in achieving these milestones? What were some of the resources that were helpful in your career? Sitembile,
Okay.
are you there? All right, thank you.
Yes, good question. So I have worked for a number of organizations. and working for various organizations offered new challenges. But I always saw those challenges as opportunities, because when you look at cybersecurity, you can never cut and paste solutions. Each and every organization is different. Each and every organization has got different types of challenges that you need to resolve. And besides, earlier on I mentioned that in this space there are new threats each and every day. So what I can say is that each environment that I worked for contributed to my growth, my development, and it also shaped my expertise, not just my expertise, my career path as well. So in life, it is guaranteed that you'll always come across certain challenges, but in most instances, they turn out to be opportunities that you must leverage on and become a better person, whether in your career or in your personal life. So it's about embracing those challenges and make them turn out to be, make sure that they work out for your own good at the end of the day. So it also goes back to that enthusiasm or passion that I spoke about earlier on. Sometimes you have to learn, especially in my space, you have to learn, you have to continuously develop yourself, because if you don't develop yourself, you'll remain behind. Earlier on, I spoke about AI and machine learning. There are new technologies in the AI space. And then another challenge that I always had in my career had to do with not having adequate resources. And actually, it's not just my challenge. It's a global challenge. It is well known that in the cybersecurity space, we don't have adequate resources. That is why we need you young girls to come and join the cybersecurity space so that we can have as much resources as possible. We need more women. Honestly, we need more women. So I hope out of this session, we'll get more cybersecurity professionals. So as I was still saying, you need to make sure that you need to enrich yourself with the relevant knowledge so that you can become relevant at all times. That's exactly what I did to overcome some of the challenges that I came across. Another thing that I've noticed is that sometimes we become too complacent, or we become fearful or too comfortable in our comfort zones. Let's say you are in one organization and you tend to understand the processes, you feel that you're doing well and all that, then you become too comfortable. But it's always better to always check whether your expertise are still relevant everywhere, because things change. But again, make it a point that it's something that you're comfortable with. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Do it because you feel that, okay, you can actually embrace each and every challenge that you come across. Because if you join a new organization, obviously you have to learn something new. You have to learn new processes, learn a new culture. But it's good because it opens up your mind and you are able to be relevant everywhere. And I'm sharing this because I remember at some point I was with the organization for 9 years, going to 10 years, and I was doing very well. I was one of the highest performers and everything. But there came a period where I said, you know what, I'm doing very well in this company, and I've received awards. I've been nominated a number of times as one of their high performers and so forth. But inside, I asked myself, am I still relevant? Will I still get the same kind of recognition if I were to go outside this organization? Then I said to myself, okay, maybe it's time for me to go and explore that, because I believe I have served this organization. I have taken and lifted the maturity level of the cybersecurity to the next level. So that was fine. Let me go and do that at another organization. By doing that, I'll also be making sure that I'm still relevant out there. Because sometimes you find that people tend to stay in one place, they become stagnant, and not necessarily because they can't do it, but because of fear. So one of the challenges that you need to overcome as a young girl, as a young woman, as a young leader is fear. You must never allow fear to rule you, because it robs you of the next opportunity. So me taking a step, that brave step, helped a lot, because I can start something new at any time now. That fear is no longer there. I overcame it. Whereas if I had decided to stay, I would still be asking myself the same question, whether I'm relevant or not. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you. So first thing, accept your challenges and make them work for your good. Okay, and then try stepping out of your comfort zone and overcome fear. It is really important to overcome fear. So the next question is for Sharon. Sharon, how do you deal with rejection and setbacks you've encountered in your tech career? Have you faced discrimination, especially as a woman in leadership in a predominantly male field? How did you deal with it?
Good question. Very good questions. I do realize, I think I may have forgotten to mention this. I work at a company called Paystack, which I'm sure a bunch of the Nigerian guys who are on this call know about. So that's where I currently work. Okay. So you've asked about discrimination, but you've also asked about setbacks. I think for setbacks, take it in good stride. It's not about you. Like if it's not good, it's not good, you know? If you go for an interview and you don't get the job because of valid reasons, perhaps, you know, your skill level isn't what they're looking for at the moment, or for whatever other reason, take it in good stride, and as an opportunity to upskill. If within an organization that you work with or with a client, some of the feedback is, you know, less than ideal, you expected they will be mind blown and this will be the best thing they've ever seen. And, you know, like there's a lot of corrections and such things. Again, take it in good stride. This ultimately does make you better. It makes you a more critical thinker. Take it in good stride. I think also have an outlook that people are not out to get you, that they're not out to sabotage you, but that instead they actually just want you to do good work, and their feedback, their comments are ultimately helping you get to that place. I think also it's important to be wise and discerning between what's valuable feedback and what's, you know, like not valuable or a little bit hateful. And even in that case, I think understanding that, you know, there are different dynamics that tend to play out, and taking it in good strides still. You know, if it's unkind, understanding that is again not about you, but more about the person who's dishing out the feedback and comments that are unkind. Very, very useful. So be discerning with what is this feedback about? Is it actually useful? How can I apply this? And then if it's not useful, just let it go. Let it go, or address it with the person, and be wise with, you know, like kind of the different dynamics that would tend to play out. In terms of discrimination, I would say I've been very fortunate to not have the, I don't know what to call it, the discrimination, to not have to like continuously think about the fact that I am a woman in X space. I've been very fortunate to not have that. In fact, I think I've mostly had allies and partners when it comes to my career, both in men and women. I've mostly had advocates and people who have delighted in mentoring me. So that's one privilege that I think I've gotten to enjoy. I greatly empathize with the women who've had it really tough, especially when it comes to just like the different opportunities that you may lose out on because, or even just like discrimination in pay gaps and such things. But one thing that I found helpful is if you feel that there is some sort of disenfranchisement, ask why. So if I notice that one of my colleagues is earning X amount in just casual talk, and we are probably peers, I would probably just go to my manager and be like, hey, so I was chatting with so-and-so, and, you know, like this is their salary, this is what I'm earning. Is there a reason for that? Asking why is just a really good way to also get out of your own mind, and just overcome the different challenges that you'd tend to face in a workplace. But yeah, in a nutshell, I've been quite privileged to not have to face discrimination because of gender. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Always ask why. Why is very important. So the next question for you will be, what are some of the common misconceptions, right, about the role of product designers that you found untrue? How necessary are soft skills for a product designer, and why, and which would you advise a beginner to develop?
Could you take that again? I think I may have missed part of that question.
All right, so what are some of the misconceptions about the role of product designers, right, that you found untrue? And also, how necessary are soft skills for a product designer, and which would you advise a beginner to develop or to have?
So the greatest misconception is that we are cosmetic artists. And so people always expect that a designer will produce something beautiful. You know, it's like, give it to this person. It's just like, wait for something, which is just not true. It is a very important part of the work, the aesthetic appeal of a product or a space or a service at the end of it. But we have to think about the experience first. And thinking about the experience is more than just, you know, like putting it on wireframes and such things. You have to think about how will somebody interact with this. You have to think about why is this an important problem. You have to think about the different ways to approach a problem. You also have to think about, is this really a problem? You know, like it could be that we are actually attacking the wrong problem. And so I think that one of the biggest values that designers offer is thought partnership and thought leadership within, again, whichever space you find yourself in. And so I think it's just one of those things that, you know, when everyone was talking about getting a seat at the table, I think for designers, we were mostly like trying to figure out in spaces where we're mostly seen as cosmetic artists, how do we get closer to thought partnership so that we are invited into the conversation because there's that awareness that this is a great person to brainstorm with. This is a great person to define a problem with. This is a great person to prioritize stuff with. And that you do that by just educating the people that you work with. So you essentially just have to show them that you're able to do these things. And if you're not able to do it, build that muscle, build your muscle in critical thinking, and then you provide them more value in that way. What was the second question, please? I forget.
The second question was, how necessary are soft skills for a product designer, and which would you advise a beginner to have?
Super. Which is what I think I said this before. I think it's very important to be able to communicate well, because a lot of your work is just communicating with people and different people, and everyone wants you to communicate differently. The way I'll talk to a designer about a problem or a piece of work is not the way I'll talk to, say, a product manager or an engineer or someone who is in leadership. Just the understanding that you have to communicate well and then also tailor your communication to be what that other person needs. So it really is about understanding who your stakeholder is and then how do I communicate to my stakeholder well. Secondly, collaboration. So designers cannot work in isolation. You just like every other person, like we all need to work with other people. So ensuring that, you know, you're able to build meaningful relationships, but you're also able to identify who to bring in or where you can plug in, and then finding ways of doing that is very important. I think another, which is, I don't really know if this is a skill, but I just think critical thinking, like the ability to think independently, being able to voice your thought, being able to contribute in that way is very important, because that way you're also able to take a problem and decompose it into something that can be understood by people. So it's essentially like saying the economy is broken. Yeah. And what next, you know? So like being able to actually think and decompose things makes it easier for yourself and for everyone else that you're working with. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. So some of the skills that I took note of are communication, collaboration, and then critical thinking. Very important. Okay. So the next question will be for Sitembile, right? Your career growth shows a great deal of dedication and commitment, from working with the South African Reserve Bank to Deloitte and currently Eskom Holdings. How have you been able to manage the demands of work with your responsibilities at home? How important would you say soft skills are to a beginner in the information security space?
Okay, let me start with your first question in terms of work-life balance. I know we always talk about work-life balance, but honestly, I've never seen someone who's mastering that part. We always try to navigate and make things work. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to make those women who can't cope with work-life balance feel bad. But I'm gonna make sure that I tell the truth and say, sometimes you miss it. When you see your child's grade going down and you're like, okay, what happened? And you realize that, okay, maybe if I spend more time with her or him, her grades would have been better. But obviously you try and do something, get some help. It can be through tutoring and get some support structure, okay? And then in terms of my schedule being hectic all the time, supportive structure at home is very important. So it can be your spouse, for instance, who's very supportive. For instance, like right now, I'm not at home, but my kids still need to go to work. So my kids still need to go to school, and someone need to take them to school. So I'm talking about such supportive structures. They are very fundamental. They are very important. So that is why we need to leverage on those supportive structures, especially as women. Because I remember in the olden days, you find that our mothers end up giving up on their careers just because they want to take care of us. But now times have changed. We don't have to do that. We can make sure that we have proper supportive structures. Even if you don't have a spouse, you can get a helper. You can get someone who can help your kids with the homework. It's not just limited to those who've got spouses, because sometimes you can even have a spouse, but only to find that he's also busy and he can't give you the support that you need. So it's not just about having a spouse. So if you don't have a spouse, don't feel bad. You can always get another type of a supportive structure. And then also make it a point that you keep those lines of communication between you and your kids. Because at the end of the day, whatever that we're doing as women, we want to make sure that our kids turn out to be the best. I remember at some point of my life, I had to give up certain careers. I had to give up opportunities. There was a job that I could take, but it required me to travel, and my kids were still young, very, very young. And it was a very good opportunity. I was so looking forward to it. It was one of the big four audit firms during the early years of my career. Mark that, okay? I had to weigh the risk and say, okay, which one is more important? And then I made a decision based on the risk, okay? And then obviously I always had that thing at the back of my mind. I wondered, where would I be if I had taken that opportunity? But because I chose to make the right decision at that time, God became faithful, and at later stages of my life, another opportunity presented itself. And it was in the same audit firm where I couldn't accept the offer. So all that I'm saying is, don't worry about the missed opportunities because of the responsibilities that you probably have at home, maybe with your kids or with your family members, but keep on trying. At some stage, you will get what you need. Don't give up. It's all about not giving up. And then what was your other question again?
Hold on a second. Yeah, so how important would you say soft skills are to a beginner in the information security space?
Okay, soft skills are important in almost each and every career. The other speaker of communication, audience. Same thing applies in the security space. But if you don't have them, you can develop them. So don't blame yourself just because you feel like you cannot cope with some of the things. So make sure that you develop those soft skills, because at the end of the day, we deal with people on a daily basis, and there are different types of people. Sometimes there are difficult people. You need to know how to handle difficult people. Sometimes there are difficult clients. You need to know how to handle those difficult clients. So soft skills are very important. Obviously, we need to communicate as well to those people. We need to know how to communicate. There are different types of audiences. We've got executives. I communicate to the board. I communicate to technical people. And when I communicate to these people, I use different strategies. I can't go to the board and use technical jargon, because they won't understand what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, I won't get the support that I need from the board. Why? Because I'm not using the right language. So those soft skills are important, and you keep on developing them as you go. I remember as a young professional, obviously I wasn't communicating to the board directly, and those skills were not relevant. That's why I'm saying that you develop those skills as you go. There is why for instance, in most of the courses nowadays, they make it a point that they include some of those soft skills like communication skills. Make sure that you tap on that a lot, because you will need those. But if you don't have them, it's okay. You'll develop them. Don't worry about it.
All right, thank you. Communication keeps coming back. Knowing how to communicate when and then how. Okay, so my last question, we are almost out of time. My last question for Sitembile. If you could look back at your younger self starting out in tech, what advice would you give her?
Okay. I will say, keep your head high, girl. You can do it. Don't look down upon yourself. Don't listen to the critics. Aspire young girls, or inspire young girls out there, because I was just talking to someone just before I joined this call. She came to me actually. She said, "You know what? I always look up to you. You know, when I look at you talking, it encouraged me. I started talking as well. Now I'm able to speak in conferences." And I was like, wow, okay, I didn't know that what I do has got so much impact to other people. And I realized through that, it's always important never to give up, because by giving up, you're killing somebody else's dream. Imagine if I gave up, because even myself, I haven't been perfect. I've been developing whatever that needs to be developed in my area so that I can be an expert. So if, for instance, I were to listen to some critics or maybe succumb to some challenges, this lady that I spoke to today would have been discouraged as well. And probably she wouldn't be where she's at today. And she wouldn't be telling me what she's telling me today. So all that I could say is, you go, girl, to the younger me. You go, girl, you can do this. Just keep your head held high and make it a point that you become an inspiration to other girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You go, girl. I mean, don't give up, stay focused. Go, girl. Okay, so our last question is for Sharon. So, Sharon, a lot of ladies on the call are looking at kickstarting a career in tech. What final words do you have for them?
So I'd say keep working on your craft. In this world, in this era, you have so much access to online resources. So leverage these free resources and free courses, and keep working on your craft. Become good at what you do or what you want to do. And another one is be humble. Just be open to learning. I think younger designers who are coming up definitely know like all the cool things and how to do things in a really cool way. But be open and humble to learning from people who have gone before you, who understand different nuances that you might not even think to consider. And be brave. I tell myself every time, be brave. You just take the next step. Just do it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Be brave, be brave. Be bold, be brave. Okay, so thank you so much, Sitembile and Sharon, for the fireside chat and how you answered your questions. I believe many of the ladies out there have been inspired by your experience, your journey, and it's great. Even myself, I said it earlier, I want to be like Sitembile when I grow up. So thank you so much, and over to you, Oyolua. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for such an amazing moderation. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you to Sutem, Billy, and Sharon. My notepad is full. Thank you. I would like to hear, responses from everyone on the call. I mean, you've been hearing a lot from Sharon, from Sutem, Billy, so far in the last 1 hour. What has, if you could describe it in one word, or, just was something that stood out for you. Let me see, your comments in the chat. I can see Vanessa saying that that's truly inspiring. Yes, it has. Like I said, my notepad is full. And then for those people who have asked questions, we're going into the Q&A session right about now. We have 23 questions, but I can't promise we'll take all questions because, of course, we are pressed for time. But we'll take as many as we can. Okay, I can see some of us saying inspiring. Never give up. I can see some people saying it has been insightful. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. I'm pretty sure that you're glad you're here. And you tell your friends about this session. So we have some questions here. Gloria, I also have questions directed to you as well. So I'll just quickly take this session. And I'll just quickly take this session as quick as possible. So again, please bear with us if you're unable to take all questions because we're really pressed for time. So I think I'll start with them because there are quite a number of questions for you. So someone is asking, what was that question that I saw? So someone is asking, how do they figure out what area in cybersecurity to specialize in, especially for someone who is a beginner? Because there are quite a number of specializations in cybersecurity. So how exactly do they figure out what area to specialize in? And just to piggyback on that question, Chineye says, what do I tend to expect in the cybersecurity sector? That is, what can she put in place to ensure that she thrives in this space? So I just made 2 questions into one. How can they specialize? And I think I said a question about asking for a roadmap. Maybe you could just share if you have like a roadmap for cybersecurity for a beginner going in. So Hattie, then Billy, that's to you.
Okay. I couldn't hear some of the parts you said, but I think I understand the question. So basically, cybersecurity is very broad. It's got a number of domains. So if you are very technically inclined, then you can look at the domains that require technical expertise. For instance, like application security, database security, network security, So there are different domains that you can tap into depending on your current knowledge or what you are passionate about. But if you're not, and you still want these technical domains, you can learn. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. But then if you're not interested in the technical domains, then you can look at the governance space. We call it information security governance, the way you can develop policies, standards, and procedures. You can also make sure that you create awareness, you develop cybersecurity awareness strategies or programs, So you don't always have to be technical, but there is a level of technical expertise that is required if you want to be a CISO, for instance, or if you want to be a head of cybersecurity, because at some point, there'll be a time where you need to make decisions. So in order for you to make a decision whether you should procure solution A or B, you must know whether this solution will serve the company with good benefits. Obviously, the team will also assist you. Your technical team will work along with you, but it's always good to have both capabilities if at some point you want to make sure that you want to be the head. But like I said, you develop those skills. If you want, for instance, be a network security engineer, there are certain courses that you can go for, like there are Cisco certifications that you can apply for, and then make it a point that you attain them. But there's another course called Security Plus. That's a basic one. I remember in the early years of my career, I also did it. So if you're interested in security, you can do Security Plus. But nowadays, there's a lot. The CISM, CISM stands for Certified Information Security Manager. So if you're not technical and you don't really like these technical capabilities, you can maybe enroll for CISM. But obviously with CISM, you need to have the relevant experience before you can attain the certification. So there are requirements. Go to the website, you'll see how many years of experience will be required for you to get that certification. And there's something else called CISSP. I'll recommend each and everyone who's interested in cybersecurity to go for that course because it's broad. It covers all the domains. And while you're preparing for your CISSP exam, you will actually even know that, okay, this domain, you know, it gels with me a lot. I understand it better. You'll also know that, okay, it means even if I choose my stream should be along these lines because I'm more passionate about development of policies. I'm more passionate about creating cybersecurity awareness programs. Or if you come across the network security domain and you see that, okay, oh, you like it, it means that's where your stream will be focused on going forward. So all that I'm saying is leverage on the internship programs as well. And when you go for internship, don't choose. Just say, okay,
Hi, Sister are you still there with us? Ooh, same and it will
particular area.
Okay.
And then the following month you go to the next stream and so forth. And by so doing, you will understand which stream is aligned with your requirements.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Sister Blaze. That was really, really insightful. I'm sure that quite a number of people have learned from that. So my next question will be to Gloria. I'll be making 3 questions in one, so please just quickly follow me. So I can see a question asking that for software developer, what advice would you give to someone who is looking into venturing into the field, that's for software development. And just to piggyback on that question, there's a question here about from Joy. She says she's a full stack developer. She's looking to move into cybersecurity. Is it possible to integrate the two and still utilize the skills in both backgrounds? And if probably System really has something to add to this question, it's possible to combine being a full stack developer with being a cybersecurity analyst, you know, how to do that. And then the last question, Gloria, also is, what's an important technical skill that a software developer should possess? So again, let me just quickly take the question. So basically about technical skills going into, for someone who wants to go into software development, yeah, and then if there's any general advice you have, and just how possible it is to integrate being a full stack developer, moving into cybersecurity, and utilize the skills in both backgrounds.
Okay, thank you, Oreolua. So I'll say for the first question, right? Some of the technical skills you need. I believe that you've done some research and you've decided that, okay, I want to be a software developer or I want to be a software engineer, because I get people coming to me, they want to go into software development, they want to code. When you ask them why, they will be like, oh, I'm passionate about programming. And they've not really done any research when it comes to the tech field, right? The tech field is very broad. So I assume that she did some research and she wants to start with software development. So some of the technical skills, I would say basic HTML, CSS. You need HTML, CSS basic skills. You can start with WordPress as well. WordPress is really simple. About 40% of the websites out there have been built using WordPress. So I'll say start with basic HTML, CSS, master that, and then begin to progress now the frameworks, if you want to learn PHP. Also, it depends if you want to be a front end or a back end developer as well. It depends, but basically, HTML, CSS for a start, PHP as well for a start, or JavaScript, as well as WordPress. I would say WordPress is a very easy way to build websites. So if you are able to understand how WordPress works, how the plugins work as well, you'll be good to go. Now for the next question, how easy is it to integrate cybersecurity to software development? I'll say it is quite easy because as a full stack developer, you've probably handled data, you've used API endpoints, collected data, integrated data, stored data in a database. Also, personally, I've had a website hack before that I've built. So obviously, you need to have a very robust system, especially if you are pushing it out there for thousands of users, millions of users. You need to build a very robust system. So this exposes you to understand that security is really important when it comes to data management, data security, as well as the software itself. So I would say is quite simple to integrate both. You can start with some basic in cybersecurity principles, learning about that. And if you have your bachelor's degree, probably you could try venturing into doing your master's in cybersecurity as well. You can take short cybersecurity courses that are available, some online internships, just to keep yourself up. Always, you can never stop learning, as Sitimbile mentioned. Sharon also mentioned that you can never stop learning. If you want to be relevant in the tech field, things are changing every day. They are releasing new versions of software that we use every day. So you need to keep yourself up to date. You need to learn. You need to get yourself out there, experience. Ask people that have the experience, how are they making it? How are they doing it? Have mentors, have coach, that people that you talk to that are already in the same field. And the last question, Oriolua, can you help me with the last question?
So the last question was just mainly if you have like any advice for anyone who's venturing into software development as a beginner, like any major things that they should just keep in mind as they're going into this field for the first time.
Okay, so aside the technical skills that you need, communication is a soft skill that you need to have, because most of the software developers or software engineers out there find it very difficult to express their ideas or communicate. That is from personal experience and also from other team members I've worked with. You always realize that software engineers in a meeting, they don't have much to say, right? And then they don't really know how to put their ideas out there. The engineers are confused, and they also tend to confuse others sometimes because of the technical terms they use. So you need to really know how to communicate. Who are you communicating with, and how do you go about it? If you are having a meeting with a stakeholder, there's a way you communicate with them. If you are working with your fellow programmer or engineer, there's a way you speak to them. And also, if you are collaborating with the designer, the UI UX designer, there is a way you also try and communicate with them. So communication is really key. And also, don't stop learning. Stay focused, because software development is a field where sometimes you find yourself asking this question: who sent me? Like, why am I doing this? Because of just common errors. I'll not say they are just common. Maybe it's just a comma somewhere that you were not able to fix, and you spend a whole time trying to resolve it, and you start questioning your career decision, a whole lot. But don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep on doing what you do. Keep on learning. Learn how to communicate, and you go, girl. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. You go, girl. I mean, you have to take that out of this session today. We've heard a lot about communication from all of our speakers, from all of our panelists. How important it is to, develop communication as a soft skill, and just knowing the right person to speak to, and the right strategy to use when speaking to stakeholders, when speaking to managers, when speaking to fellow colleagues. So hi Sharon, there are quite a number of questions here for you. And I've just been looking at how I can compress them, because we have to compress them. So first question is what's the first step to becoming a product designer? Does it involve heavy coding? And if it does, what language do you use? That's one. Then there's another question about how were you able to narrow your interest to your preferred niche in product design? Because and the person says that I understand that there are different areas in product design. How are you able to narrow your interest to your preferred niche? And the last question is, can someone be a product designer and a product manager? So over to you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it from the last one. Can someone be a product manager and a product designer? Why not? Yeah, go for it. If you can, go for it. The first question, in terms like, does the trajectory for product design
does it involve coding, heavy coding,
yeah.
and if what language?
Yeah, no, like good question. I wouldn't say so. I think it really does depend on what type of a designer you are. My background was very, very lightly in coding, which I quickly transitioned out of as soon as I landed into research. So my primary background, I would say, is in research and design. So it really does depend on the type of designer you are. If you can acquire it as a complementary skill, go for it. But do you absolutely fundamentally need it? No. And then it also depends on the type of company you join. So if you join a highly technical organization or company, then it becomes very necessary to be able to communicate in a technical language, and coding helps you with that. But there are other ways that you can kind of get into the gist of technical jargon. So yeah, I would say not really, but it depends on like what you hope to get out of your career. The second question, please ask me again.
Yes, so second question is the person says, I understand that there are different areas in product design. How are you able to narrow your interest in your preferred niche?
So my interest, again, like I love economics, and so that's actually how I've kind of decided which way to go in my career path. I would say don't be so bogged down by which way do I go, and I want to echo what the Sitemile said. Sorry, I was like really trying to butcher your name, which is just find your passion and then let that drive you. And so for me, if I notice that that fintech is really contributing to economies, especially my economy. I'm a Kenyan. I love my country. I want to see it grow. And I know where my skill set lies. So I know I'm not going to go to the government of Kenya and be like, give me a job. I want to work as a designer here. I'm going to look at how is the private sector contributing to the economy, and then where can I plug myself in and meaningfully use my skill. And so I'd say find your passion. What is it that you want to get out of your career? Do you want to see small businesses grow? Do you want to see, like large businesses grow? And then how does your skill complement that industry? And then now you start identifying places to work in, and the type of jobs that you should be going for, and even like the type of niche that you should put yourself into. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Sharon, for that. So hi, Sitembile, I'm back to you. There are also quite a number of questions here for you, and I'm looking at just how
is it my network? I can't hear you.
No, I think she cut out.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if she was asking a question.
Yes, she was trying to ask a question.
Okay. Did you get it?
No, not really.
All right, let's just give her a minute or so. Okay, she's back.
All right, hi everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, apologies for that network today. Just wants to take us out, but I won't allow it. So, yeah. So the question I was asking to Sitem Billy is, what if you're going into what are the required skills to learn before venturing into cybersecurity? And I think earlier in your introduction, you mentioned how that you experienced some financial strain. So someone is just asking that, how are you able to manage that, especially when finances at home are not looking so good and it's threatening your passion for technology? And then lastly, what would you advise a lady that wants to transition into tech from a sales job that also has to run at home, continue her career, and there's just like quite a lot on our plate. How do you juggle all of that? Over to you,
Okay.
Dembele.
Okay, I got the first question in terms of the resources if they are now threatening your career. What I can say is, if you can apply for a bursary, there are institutions that offer bursaries. So if you can try to apply for bursaries, and if also you can approach a certain institution nearby, sometimes there are institutions that offers funding. You can do that as well. If you have a parent or a relative that is working in a good company that offer bursaries, you can try that as well. Because I remember that's one of the things that helped me. My dad was working for a company, and fortunately that company was offering bursaries, and that's how I ended up in tertiary through a bursary from a workplace. So that is helping quite a lot nowadays. So if you've got a parent or an uncle, you can try that. Other than that, just keep on looking out for opportunities like internships, because sometimes you get internships for people who just did grade 10, sorry, grade 12, not 10, grade 12. So if you've got grade 12 and you don't have enough funds, for instance, to go to tertiary, look for internships and like take opportunity of, for instance, doing an internship, and while you're getting that stipend, you can use that stipend to then further your career. That's what I can advise you. And then the second question was what? Okay, she's not okay. But I think it had to do with juggling responsibilities. Remember, I said there's no proper balance, but try as much as possible to have a plan in place that, okay, at least when I have time during weekends, I need to put more focus on ABC and try to be disciplined and stick to that. If you've got friends, trust me, sometimes you lose those friends. I remember when I was doing my master's degree, I couldn't see my friends, and some of them thought that I was being funny, but I had to explain to them that, look, I invested in this thing and I have to pass. I can't see you for now, but once I'm done, we'll have time. So sometimes it's about disciplining, not necessarily disciplining, disciplining yourself and talking to your family and friends and make them understand that you might not be available for all the events for now until you are done with your degree. I think
yeah, I think she's still not there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because we can't see the questions, maybe while you're waiting for her, and if you've got a question, you're able to talk, you can just ask.
Yeah. I think, let me read out some of the questions here. Someone is asking about project management. I don't know, Sharon, do you want to take that?
I don't know. Is there a specific question, or what is this?
The person is the person is asking what area in project management can one specialize in, and the person is a beginner?
I think there's some careers that are very difficult to find speciality. I think it's easier to specialize in an industry than in a career path. So say if you have a lot of experience in energy, it's easier to say, you know, I managed X teams in energy farms and this has been the results and such things. But don't peg your career path to specialization. Get in there, do whatever is needed. It's really a philosophy I have. Do whatever is needed early on, and then you start seeing the opportunities to find a niche and to set yourself apart later on. And I think for most people here, we probably had to do a ton of stuff that was really not part of what we thought was meant to be like the career path that we were on. And that kind of eventually allowed us to specialize later on. Yeah. But I don't really have much to say about product management or project management. Yeah.
I think Rodwa is back.
Yeah, I did want
Yes,
to add one last thing about project and product management. There's an outcome. So if you're managing a project, you have a specific outcome, and everyone empirically is a project manager. So if I have a project, I have a very specific outcome that I'm driving towards, and so it's up to you to plot out the lines of how to achieve that. I think that's the most tangible or like important skill in that path of management. Yeah, project management. Yeah.
Hi, thank you, Sharon, for that. Hi, Gloria. Thank you so much for holding the fort when the network kicked me out. And quite unfortunately, I had to rejoin, so I don't have access to the Q&A questions like I did before. So, Gloria, I might just need your help. However, we are really, really pressed for time. So I think we might just have to take just like one more question. If there's any question, you could just quickly scan through and see any major question that can be answered in 2 minutes. Yes, Gloria.
Okay, so someone is asking to Sharon, right? Have you ever felt that you lost an opportunity because of gender bias?
I think I answered this before when I was speaking. I have fortunately not felt that type of discrimination. So no, I haven't. Yeah.
And then someone else is asking, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? If yes, how did you handle it?
Every day. It's part of my life, guys. So it's every day. But how do you handle imposter syndrome? So one, I think imposter syndrome isn't in itself a bad thing. We all have I think even in parenthood, you have that sense of imposter syndrome where it's like, can I handle this? So just do it. If just do it and brave your way through it. Get better at the things that make you nervous, and then because there are going to be so many. If you're nervous about public speaking, speak in public, but also decide, is this a hill I want to climb? If you don't want to get good at public speaking, it's okay. We don't want a whole world of public speakers. But if you're passionate about it, if you want to get better at it, do it. And then you keep meeting different hurdles that will give you a sense of imposter syndrome. Just keep doing it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think most of the questions were answered. So
sorry, can I just chip in there if you don't mind? Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a question
Sure.
that was asked earlier regarding discrimination, losing a job because of discrimination. I did undergo that when I was pregnant with my child. Actually, I was hired on a contract basis. And we had already agreed with the employer that, okay, my contract was going to be extended for another year. And all that was missing was just the paperwork. But then they realized that I was pregnant. When they realized that I was pregnant, then obviously they could tell that, okay, they're not going to make money. According to them, they were going to lose. Then they decided not to renew the contract despite the verbal agreement. And it happened twice. But you should never give up because of such things. As much as I lost that contract work, months later, it wasn't easy, obviously. you're expecting a child and then your contract is terminated while you were told that it will be renewed. It wasn't easy, but a few months later, I got another job and it was even permanent. So don't even allow such things to discourage you, because there's something even better coming your way.
Oh, wow, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, Billy. I know that would have inspired one or two persons on the call, if not more. Thank you so much once again, Billy, Sharon, Gloria. Thank you so much for today's session. It was really insightful. And I saw quite a number of questions asking about how they can apply, how people can apply for some of the trainings that we do here at Tech for Dev, and I'm going to ask you a question about how that can learn software development. So yes and yes. So if you were here with us at the beginning, I ran us through all the programs that in the Women Techsters, mainly the Tech Girls Rep, Women Techsters Open, which we are here on now. And then of course we have the bootcamp, the fellowship, and the masterclass. So some of us, I know that some people on this call probably already know about some of this, and some people already applied to the bootcamp. You applied to the most recent, the bootcamp, of course, it's a 3 weeks startup course, right? And you just get to learn about, say for instance, if you want to be in cybersecurity, if you want to be in product design like Sharon, or you want to be in software development like Gloria, you could just, but you're not sure whether or not that's exactly what you want to do. The bootcamp is the right place for it. Why? Because you get to learn the basics, and then you get to understand some of the things that you would need to do if you are going to actually go into this career path in depthly. So the bootcamp, if you follow us on social media, you will always see when our bootcamp, when a call for application for bootcamp opens up. And we recently had a call for application for bootcamp earlier this month. Unfortunately, it closed. Well, not unfortunately, but it closed on 26th, which I think is it's on Sunday. So if you apply for it, fingers crossed, you'll be getting notification of your application status in the coming days. So please just relax. You would get an email about whether or not you've been selected soon. And if for any reason you were not selected, there are still other bootcamps that you can always apply for. Right. So we've almost come to the end. We're not exactly at the end. It's time for pictures. Yes, this is one of my favorite parts, because we get to promote people from attendees to panelists. So you come into the panel session, and then we can just quickly take like a few snapshot pictures for the gram, and just some other things so that you can just be able to put and then share on social media to say, yes, you came for this webinar, you learned a lot. And it's one of the ways by which you can actually promote yourself. So I can see a question here about, can one apply for the bootcamp more than once? Yes, you can apply for the bootcamp more than once. I see a question to someone said she's over 40 and asking if she could apply for the bootcamp. Please apply. Let's just apply, and then if you're gotten in, if you're selected, you will be notified of the selection. So it's time for pictures. Yay! If you'd like to take pictures with us, please just raise your hand and we'll promote you to panel session. Please, if you have been promoted to the panel session, kindly ensure you turn on your video. So please make sure that you are in a place whereby you can turn on your video, and you can show in our picture that we've taken today. Perpetual, unfortunately, the bootcamp has closed for this cohort. So if you're interested in applying for the bootcamp, please just follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. You get to know all about the bootcamp and what is required. And just for anyone who does not know, we are Tech for Dev. That's Technology for Social Development, but Tech for Dev for short. So just search for Tech for Dev on LinkedIn, search for Tech for Dev on Instagram, search for Tech for Dev on Tech for Dev HQ on Twitter, and then you can follow us, and then you just get first-hand information of any of our programs that is on. So I'm promoting quite a number of persons now. If you have been promoted to the panel session, please kindly turn your video on so we can take our picture. Okay, if you are here, please Please kindly turn your video on so we can take our picture. Okay. And I think quite a number of people have joined in already. Let me just see if I can add a few more persons. Oh, unfortunately, Sister Bile had to go. It was quite amazing that she was able to join us. She had a flight to catch, so she had to quickly run off for that. But also, just before I forget, kindly follow all of our speakers on social media. Just before the end of the session, I'll be posting their social media details in the chat section, just so that you can follow them and just get to know about it. So if you are already in our panel session, please turn your video on so that we can take pictures with you right about now. Okay, I see some people have already done that. Okay. Okay, just give me one moment. All right, so we would be unmuting and we'll be saying women in tech. Are we already? Are we already?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, awesome. I'll take that as a yes. So please unmute your mic and stay with me. Women in tech. Everybody go. Women in tech. Okay, let's do that again. Women in tech.
Women in tech.
Okay, awesome. One more time, just for the last time.
Women
Say it again. Women in tech.
Women in tech.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all so very much for joining today's session. We are thrilled to have you. Thank you once again to all of our speakers, to Sitembile, to Gloria, to Sharon. I mean, today's session was really impactful, and I know I learned a lot as quite a number of the beneficiaries in the call. Yes, thank you once again, everyone. So I just posted on the chat the LinkedIn profile of some of our speakers and panelists. I've posted Sharon's own. I'm posting that of Sitembile. So please go to LinkedIn, make sure you follow them. And of course, make sure you rave about today's session. Just, write about something that you learned in today's session, right? What's something that really stood out for you? What's something that, is a take home for you as you are leaving today's session and you are going out there to kickstart your tech career? Okay. Also, please follow Gloria on LinkedIn. And again, like I said, if you'd like to know more about the programs that we offer and just how you can benefit from it, please ensure that you are following Tech for Dev on all of our social media platforms, just so that you can get first-hand information whenever any of our trainings, whenever the call for application for any of our trainings is out. Thank you, ladies, once again. Thank you so much for staying. We have officially come to the end of today's edition of the Women Techsters Open Day. Thank you once again, and thank you to our amazing speaker. Thank you to Sitembile in absentia. Thank you to Sharon. Thank you to Gloria. Thank you all very much, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Once again, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.